Hi, this is Brecken Shrimplin, and this is my presentation over the appropriate use of assistive technology. Over the past few decades, our country has seen a shift in the environment of our public education classrooms. Due to the inclusive practices brought forth by federal legislation, public education classrooms are now as diverse as ever, with students of different cultures, languages, and abilities being served all in one classroom. Students with intellectual and physical disabilities, who previously would have been served in institutions, are now being educated alongside their non-disabled peers and gaining access to the general education curriculum through the use of assistive technology. This presentation will discuss assistive technology and considerations that must be made by educators in relation to considering, choosing, and implementing assistive technology in a safe, legal, and ethical manner. First, let's address what assistive technology is. According to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 2004, or IDEA-04 as I will refer to it from now on in this presentation, any item, piece of equipment, or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child with a disability is considered assistive technology. The term does not include medical devices that are surgically implanted or the replacement of such a device. So for example, for a student who is found to have a significant hearing impairment, a school may be required to provide that student a hearing aid, but would not be responsible for providing that student a cochlear implant or replacing the cochlear implant should it stop working. Listed are some examples of assistive technology. And as you can see by this list, assistive technology can range from very simple, from the pencil grip, to very complex, such as eye gaze communication devices. And while many may think of assistive technology and envision the device or program itself, Public Law 100-407 states that assistive technology also includes the related services involved when AT is utilized by students with disabilities. These services include the evaluation of needed skills to use the AT, or in other words, assessing what is required of that student to use an assistive device or program. The acquisition and selection of devices and programs. So going back to the example of the student with the significant hearing loss, the school would be responsible for selecting and purchasing a hearing aid for that student. The design, repair, and fabrication of assistive technology. As stated in the definition from IDEA-04, assistive technology does not necessarily have to be purchased. It can be designed or fabricated by school personnel or an assistive technology specialist, and could be something as simple as making a chair insert for a student who has poor muscle tone and has trouble sitting up without it. Schools are also responsible for repair of qualifying assistive devices, such as hearing aids or text readers, as well as any necessary fitting that may be required to use the device safely and effectively. Also included in these services is the coordination of these services with other therapies and training for both the student and those who will be working closely with that student. Students must be knowledgeable about how to use their AT in order for it to be effective. However, parents, teachers, and other school personnel must also be taught how to use the AT to better understand what it offers to the student, how it works, and how to help the student when it is needed. All of these services are important and help to make the use of assistive technology effective and must be provided as mandated by law. Next, let us discuss what the members of a student's individualized education plan team need to think about when both considering the use of assistive technology and choosing AT should it be decided that it is needed. First, because it is mandated under IDEA-04 that those serving as members in a student's IEP team must consider AT as part of the student's IEP, the team needs to consider what the goals are that they want the student to meet and whether assistive technology may be necessary for the student to meet those goals. For example, for a student who has extreme difficulty with math and whose IEP team has decided that successful completion of math homework is a goal, a calculator may be necessary in order for that student to achieve and meet that goal. They also need to consider accommodations and assistive technology that has already been tried. IEP teams need to examine what has been tried and why it was unsuccessful in improving the students' access to their education. Considering this can help IEP teams make more knowledgeable decisions about subsequent AT. Once assistive technology is deemed necessary for completion of goals, educators must consider both the cost and availability of a possible AT. Choosing a costly AT must be met with caution due to the possibility that it may not be a great fit for the student. To remedy this, schools may consider the option of renting a costly device in order for the student to try it out, and buying it should it work out. Also, the time it takes to acquire an AT should be considered as well. Assistive technology has no benefit for a student until they are able to use it. If a desired AT is backordered or unavailable, other options may need to be considered. However, one of the most important things that IEP teams must consider is the goodness of fit. This doesn't necessarily mean the literal fit of a device or program, although that is an important aspect of implementing assistive technology safely and ethically. Goodness of fit refers to how effective the assistive technology is for that student. Goodness of fit is discovered through the ongoing evaluation of AT. During the evaluation process, it is important for IEP teams to consider the student's opinion of the device or program, and whether that student is interested in using it. Equally important is to evaluate how effective that AT is in helping the student complete the intended goal or task. If a student doesn't like their AT, or feels as though it brings unwanted attention to them in some way, or if the AT is not performing its function satisfactorily, IEP teams need to consider other AT options. Evaluation of assistive technology can help IEP teams determine whether the AT is beneficial to the student or whether alternative AT needs to be considered. Failing to evaluate the effectiveness of an AT can lead to underuse and abandonment by the student, leaving them in a position in which access to the classroom content is prevented. Another consideration that educators need to make is how they will assess student progress. General and special education teachers need to be sure that they are assessing students' progress in mastering content material and not just learning how to use their AT well. For example, for a student who uses a word processor to complete writing assignments as opposed to writing them out, educators need to be sure that they are assessing the content and the mechanics of the writing rather than how well a student types or how fast the student types. Assuring that the assistive technology is allowing the student to master curriculum content is a key aspect to implementing AT successfully and ethically. There are a few other suggestions for educators in order to help make the use of assistive technology successful. Educators need to keep in mind that while assistive technology may help drastically increase students' academic performance, it isn't always a cure-all. Students will need continued support and encouragement and reminders to use their AT, as it will be new to them when they are first learning to implement it into their educational plan. Also, implementing self-regulating strategies can help increase the effectiveness of assistive technology. For example, self-questioning strategies for students who use text-to-speech software to read can aid in comprehension of the text that may not necessarily be improved with text-to-speech software alone. Teachers need to make sure that they are not just relying on this AT to teach the content, rather they need to realize that AT is supporting the student, and the teacher is responsible for the learning of that student. By keeping all of these considerations in mind, assistive technology can be used to its greatest potential, which benefits both students and educators alike. Thank you.